Right. Angry Bears Fan Podcast, episode 75. We won't keep you too long today. Like, follow, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Um, like I said, not too much to talk about, but Caleb and Rome signed today, so good day to say something. What was it? 4 years, 39 mil for Caleb, 4 years, 22, 23 for Rome. I think rookie contracts are fully guaranteed now.
They are.
Um, So that's a monkey off her back. I don't know if anybody was realistically worried Caleb wasn't going to sign his deal. I don't know if that's even how's that even happen. And
I don't think so. Not in a while. I think realistically, too, what I think both of them were waiting for since they were doing the hard knocks, and today was officially the first day of the filming for hard knocks for them.
think it'll
Uh,
be episode one. Then it'll be them
yeah,
signing
you
their
know what I'm saying,
contracts.
signing their contracts and stuff. JJ McCarthy from the Vikings said that he'd be willing to hold out if he didn't get his signing bonus up front, all of his signing bonus up front. Caleb got his. Caleb's signing bonus was 23.9 million or something like that. JJ, I don't know what's JJ need that money for. I really don't know
I
what.
don't know. Michigan isn't a very. I mean, they're obviously great. They're not super NIL like everybody else. Like they didn't really buy their team. JJ McCarthy might have been their highest like star recruit. Like I mean, I'm sure they had a couple, but he was like a top tier, a lot of 3 and 4 stars. So maybe he don't got the money. Like, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a ploy since they're probably gonna stash him on the bench. So he's like, well, I might as well hold out if I'm gonna be on the bench anyway. But I don't know. That seems that's weird to JJ McCarthy because he's a big team guy. So I don't know. Maybe they are trying to lowball him or all the other quarterbacks are getting guaranteed money and they don't want to give it to him. But I mean, at this point, I don't see why not. JJ is a good kid. So we'll see. But like I said, Caleb, he had just come out a couple of days ago and said that like my agent's gonna handle that. Um, but like you said, I saw that too. Hard Knocks first day makes a lot of sense. Him and Rome, I think, are very cognizant of the media and like making a splash. So I think that's a good part on them that they held off. They're gonna make Hard Knocks good. This gonna be a nice, good first episode. Them signing and doing all that. But I don't think anybody was really worried. I think it kind of reignited some of the Caleb Diva rumors if you wanted to, but it's like unprecedented for these guys not to sign their contract. And there's really nothing they could do. They kind of just have to sign. What are they not? They're the NFL has the rights. They can't go do anything else. I mean, unless you're a basketball player or baseball player or something, but it's like you can't go do anything else. Can't go play for another team, and it's like they're gonna give you $20 million. So, um, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, realistically, both of them are kind of media savvy. It just seems like there's a different kind of culture in the locker room. At least that's what it's kind of looking like. Um, Tremaine Edmunds was named number 7 in the league in terms of off-ball linebackers. This was a poll taken by coaches and players and everything else like that. He ranked number 7 on the list. Ahead of him on that list, of course, was Roquan, but also Fred Warner. Um, they started, the top 100 should be soon. They
oh
come
yeah, I
out
didn't even
every
think
year
about
around
that.
this
Yeah,
time.
we should have what
So
DJ
we'll be
Moore,
well, it'll be in DJ Moore, Keenan Allen,
Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson, Tremaine Edmunds. I mean, we should in theory have a lot more than we have in the past. It's going to be interesting just to see what peers and around the NFL have to say about the Chicago Bears, how they view them as a roster, as a team. It is no doubt much improved on the offensive side of the ball. They are working and growing on defense. They still need that second edge rusher that we had talked about. We've been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks. The rookies reported to minicamp today, or training camp or whatever. A veterans report, I believe, on Monday. I
Yeah,
want to say on Monday. So hopefully we get somebody in. We need somebody before the Hall of Fame game August 1st. We need to bring in another edge rusher. That is very imperative. Scratch all the Connor Williams, David Bakhtiari talk and stuff like that. Realistically, we need another edge. If they feel like they can go with what they have, then that puts a lot of pressure on Montez Sweat. He's going to get a lot of double teams. That's going to force everybody else to step up on that defensive line. Gavon Dexter Sr., um, Zach Pickens, Andrew Billings, Austin Booker, the fifth round rookie. We're not really expecting him to make a big impact.
if
DeMarcus
any
Walker
at
on that
all.
side. It's gonna force these guys to step up. Realistically, do you want that, or do you kind of want a little bit of an easier way? I've read something about like if the Patriots make Matthew Judon available, should the Bears pursue? Judon's 31, gonna be 32 here pretty soon. That really doesn't fit the Ryan Poles. You know what I'm
I guess
saying?
it depends on what it was for.
Yeah, well, if it was for a fourth rounder, then yeah, but I don't think
Yeah,
the Patriots are going to give up Matthew Judon for a fourth
no,
rounder.
I don't think so
Um,
either.
he doesn't give up high draft capital like that for somebody that's over the age of 30. So we'll see. I'm assuming that we're gonna see a move made in the season, mid-season, like we have the last couple of years. That's kind of where Ryan Poles makes his splash move. So we'll see about that. But I mean, it's July 16th right now as we're recording this. We've got about 15 days, 16 days until the Hall of Fame game. 2 weeks away, a little more than 2 weeks away. I can't wait.
Yeah,
5 days after that,
feels
the
forever,
premiere
like
for the
forever.
Hard Knocks.
Yeah. And then what? We got 3 weeks, and then the season starts.
Yep.
Fantasy football starting soon, all types of stuff. NCAA just came out. Madden's coming out in a month. It's gonna be a fun time. Um, who do you think is on the chopping block this training camp?
Oh, I'll give you. I mean, Velus Jones definitely. That's just a given.
Yeah, if they don't really find a role for him, and if he's not going to return punts and kicks, I don't really see
Yeah, there's
the
just no
value.
way. Man, I mean,
Bells Jones definitely leaps out to me.
there's
I'll
not
say
there's not there's not a lot
Travis
that really
Homer,
stand
maybe.
out.
I don't know how many running
Is he
backs we're
still
going
on
to
the
keep.
roster?
Yeah, Borum, Nate Davis for continuity issues. If he keeps sliding, I think if Nate Davis gets pushed to the bench, I think we just cut him. I don't really know how his contract lines up, but usually midseason you can kind of move on to somebody. I don't really see the value of him sitting on the bench. Um, if because the reason if they don't start him is going to be like his attitude, I guess. I don't know what's going on with him, but our rebuild's over, so we don't need anything like that. We need guys going out there, balls to the wall. Yeah, but besides that, I can't really think of anybody else. Like you said, on the job lot. Like, yeah, I guess Velus Jones.
I mean,
Mm,
you're obviously gonna have your practice squad guys, your younger players, stuff like that. I don't think they're gonna cut a
yeah,
lot of veterans,
yeah,
because it is kind of. I mean, we're starting to transition to that young roster. You need to keep a couple of veteran guys, which is why I think guys like Nate Davis for right now might be safe, maybe until next offseason.
I think so.
Um, but Velus Jones definitely, like you said, if he's not returning punts and kicks, there's really no point of him being on the roster. He should have been cut last year. Um, and they just didn't do it.
Yeah, I don't know why. I didn't really get why. I don't know. I guess last year was like a make it or break it. They knew that, hey, we're getting rid of Justin if he doesn't do good, so they kind of let everybody ride.
On the defensive side of the ball, I can't really think of anybody that would be on the
No,
chopping block.
yeah,
We don't have a ton of depth behind the starters on defense that I can think of. I mean, obviously you have Jalen Kyler, Tyreek Stevenson. Those are
Terrell
your starting
Lewis, and then Terrell
players.
Lewis. He's not going to get cut. He's nice and young.
Yeah, then you got the safeties, Biard and Brisker, and then you sign Jonathan Owens. He's not going to get cut because you just signed him. Defensive line, you're already kind of running scarce.
Yep.
Linebackers, maybe like I can't even think really because I mean you have the starting three. You have Sanborn, Edmunds, and Edwards, and then you got Noah Sewell as a backup.
Yeah, the rookie. He's not going nowhere. Or
You
young
know,
guy, not a rookie, but young.
yeah, he was a rookie last year, out of Oregon. So I don't know on the defense, not really so much, but there are a few names on the offense, like you said, that could possibly be on the chopping block. I'm not too familiar with the salary cap right now. After signing Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze to their contracts, I know it kind of takes a little bit of a hit, but you still have enough to make a couple of roster moves if you want to. They should. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
I'm just more so looking forward to, obviously, the Hall of Fame game is going to be something that is going to be sloppy. You know, you're going in there 2 weeks after training camp officially opens with your veterans and everything else like that. So it's not going to be crisp. We won't see a whole lot. It'll be kind of vanilla. It'll be more of a walkthrough with pads. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're gonna put on a show, but don't expect Caleb Williams to play more than like 4 snaps, if that.
Yeah, it'll be what, first drive.
Yeah. And then, going into the preseason too, what they're gonna need to do is they need to stop this bullshit where they're like, oh, we're not, our starters are good, our starters are good, our starters are good. We're not gonna put them out there, blah, 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 blah. We saw what happened the last couple of years we've done that, and then it's turned out absolutely atrocious. It's just you start off the season slow, sluggish. We have too much hype on the season. There's too much riding on the line right now. You don't want guys hurt, obviously, but at the same time, you don't want them going into week 1, week 2, week 3 still with rust and playing through the motions when they could have got rid of that shit in the preseason.
Yeah, I don't know why they killed
Yeah.
the preseason how it was like we got older. Because what was it? Week one, game one was like nothing. Like, well, it used to be four, right? Not three. Like game one was nothing. Then two, you played what? Two, you played
It was
like
like it
two
was like
drives. Game one. It was
the
like a
game one,
quarter. Two.
yeah.
It was like a
It
quarter,
was
two
like 2
quarters.
drives and then 1 quarter and then a half. And then the last game of the preseason, they just didn't play
Yeah.
because they wanted to
Yeah,
get.
the preseason game three would be they would play they would do one drive out of halftime. I think they would come out, do adjustments, and do a drive, and then that'd be done or whatever. But like you said, now it's like they don't play at all, like at any point, and it's like um I understand the point of not wanting to get these guys hurt, but it's like what the fuck is the point even doing the preseason at all then? Like
Exactly. If you're gonna do
we're
that,
really
you might as
doing
well
all
just
those
have.
games just to see if these guys are going to make your team and be on the bench. You can't figure that out in practice.
Yeah, if they're gonna continue to do that, you might as well have a fucking 21 game season and just get it over with.
Joe Burrow was on somewhere and he said do 18 game season and double bye and do like the week after Christmas when they do the national championship, that always be a bye week for everybody. And then do the Super Bowl 1 week later. And do 18
I mean,
games
that's
and two
what we're
preseason
going
games.
towards because the
We might
NFL and
as
the owners want
well.
that money.
Yeah, I mean if that's and then I'm fine with that. Like if they would make the preseason games interesting, they would get their money. If they played the rookies in the preseason game, the people that people wanted to see, they would sell those out too. Like if like let's say the Bears are like, all right, we're gonna play Caleb 70% of all these games, they're gonna sell out every fucking game and be like fucking everybody's gonna be there.
Yeah.
The reason they don't make any, they need to do all this, and it's like when we're kids, it was the same. It's like, um, they played a decent amount, but like the second stringers would play, and it felt like a real game. Like the preseason games now feel like walkthroughs.
It's
Um,
like the Pro Bowl.
yes. He also said he should do the Pro Bowl in the middle of the year. They need to do something. This this mad push to make sure nobody ever gets hurt is really putting a damper on sports, not just football either. It's basketball. It's hurt basketball too, but it really goes against the nature of competitive sports to be
It
worrying about
I
being
cannot.
worried about getting hurt. Like I'm not saying I want to get anybody to get hurt, but like true competition and passion, you're not out there worrying about like, oh, I'm gonna, you know what I mean? I don't want to go 100%. I might pull my hamstring. Like I don't want anybody to get hurt, but I wholeheartedly think them practicing less, playing less, and worrying about getting hurt so much is the reason everyone gets hurt so much because they're not working out as much. They're not wearing like they're not used to the wear and tear. Um, and yeah, they just like I don't know if soft's the word because a lot of these guys will kick my ass, but like comparatively to their predecessors, like you know what I mean? Like these guys aren't hard like Ray Lewis was, like you know, like Brian Urlacher was. Like we're gonna play these games nicked up. There's just too work, and like I've said many times in the past, it's like that's why we're paying you all this money because you're complaining that oh, you know what I mean? I get banged up. I'm playing through injuries. I'm ruining my body. Okay, fine. We're paying you enough money. You'll never have to work again. Realistically, after one contract, like if you sign one contract, if you're a rookie contract, even if you suck and it's, you know what I mean, 4 years, $20 million, like that's still more than enough money to set you up for the rest of your life. You might eventually have to get a job somewhere, but not a good, like you know what I mean. Go be a coach at some high school, make you know what I mean, modest money, and invest your money wisely. Like I understand that nature of the game, but it's ruining sports. Like trying to protect everybody, especially in football. Like it's a
Oh,
dangerous game.
absolutely.
What we love about it is the violence and I mean, we grew up in, you know what I mean, watching the greatest hits highlights on YouTube, and the ones like, are there any even greatest hits for this era, the last 5 years, this decade? Like, um, so I hope they stop that push. Like, I don't know. Before it was like Brady got hurt and they were so scared because Brady got hurt and they had three good quarterbacks. Now there's like 15. Like, if Joe Burrow gets hurt every fucking year, the NFL does just fine. Like, Lamar Jackson gets hurt every year, NFL does just fine. Like, the best players in the league get hurt all the time. Like, there's so many good quarterbacks now and things like that. Like, you don't have to worry about Tom Brady getting hurt and it basically ruining the season for the NFL in general. Like, that's not going to happen. I get maybe Mahomes, but even then, Mahomes gets hurt, Burrow's still going. Lamar Jackson hurts, Dak, like,
Josh
there's
Allen.
Josh Allen. Like, there's guys who aren't even top 10 that are interesting to watch that you want to see go. Like Kyler Murray, there's a lot of exciting quarterback. Caleb, there's, you know what I mean, a bunch of new rookies. It's just, there's so much quarterback talent that I don't think you have to worry about these guys in general, running backs, wide receivers getting hurt as much. And then, um,
Well,
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of that also has to do with the fact that, they've changed the rules of the game to benefit the offense. And I think the quarterbacks and wide receivers have definitely, I don't think anybody will sit here and tell you that they haven't benefited from it. They've benefited from it greatly. They wanted a more offensive game. And that's what they got. And you talk about the NFL quote unquote going soft, and it's kind of like when wrestling went from like the Attitude Era and the ruthless aggression era to the PG era. We're right now we're in the PG era of the
Well, they said they're
NFL
going
and
back
sports in
now.
general.
That for wrestling, aren't they? Didn't they
Yeah,
say they're?
they're going to Netflix.
Yeah,
There'll be more grittier, content. So it'll never be what it was, but um, it's just more like it's cookie cutter. It's very bland. A lot of the rules now too are so confusing. You can't even there's a lot of rules in that rule book that one just never get called, and two, now they're adding more and more and more and more and more, and it's like, how much are we going to put? And don't, I'm not putting any excuses for the referees or anything else like that, but how are these guys supposed to ref a game fairly and down the middle and everything else like that when, without a doubt, they've got something in their ear like, oh man, this is fucking Patrick Mahomes. I better throw this flag on this guy, as opposed to, oh, it's just Justin Fields or, whoever the case may be, the superstar preferential treatment. And it's like that in all sports, and it always has been. But it's getting a little out of hand and a little ridiculous in the NFL in particular with some of these guys and some of these hits that are being called on the quarterbacks. And I just, I don't know. It's very difficult to ascertain that level of just commitment to calling a game fair and square right down the middle with all the rules that keep getting thrown in, all and then of course it's judgment calls. It's pretty much what your interpretation of the rule is. You know what I'm saying? There's no clear cut. This is the way it is every single time. It's pretty much up to the referees discretion, and it's very difficult to
yeah,
maintain and regulate.
yeah. And like I said, it's just the game is changing so much. And I just honest, I don't think it'll ever will go fully flat, but it just feels like they want it to be flag football. It's like in this new era, it's like things don't always have to evolve into like this peaceful, safer thing that everyone can watch. It's like, um, and I think their catastrophizing of football is ruining it on every level. Where like it's only like college and high school or youth, middle school and high school is like dying. Um, it's only for like some of the best of the best kids. A lot of the middle of the pack, lower tier kids don't even want to play anymore. A lot of kids or parents don't want to let them play. Or they're quick to be like the first. Their parents don't like football, so as soon as they're like, "Oh, I might want to quit," they let them. Like, you know what I mean? We grew up in a time where like, oh, my mom wouldn't let me really quit anything, so especially if I started it. So it's just how it was. But football's still king. It's getting all the ratings. So I mean, they're doing something right. I guess we finally evolved into those old guys who are complaining about everything changing, and maybe the kids do like it. I don't really talk to a lot of, you know what I mean, sub 25-year olds and ask them their views about how they feel about how football has progressed, but I miss it. Some of the things, I mean, it is great and it is now. It's fun to see the scoring, but there are things that I miss about it that I don't think necessarily would ruin the game as it is. I just think it'd be a little more violent. I'm fine with you trying to protect the quarterbacks, but everybody else is fair game. Like, you guys are football players who get paid. handsomely. If you know what I mean, break your arm or get a concussion, I think you're compensated more than enough. But that's just me. And like I said, we're finally it's our turn to be the grumpy old guys complaining about how soft the sports are nowadays. But football and basketball have changed a lot. Basketball in particular, I don't know, I've kind of fallen out of love with, especially because me and you, we're really football players. So when you take the part of like the scrappiness, the pushing and shoving, the physicality out of the game, that's like kind of why I liked it as a kid. I was always a shortish, chubby kid. I kind of got taller as I got older, but like I could use my size, my physicality, and now basketball really isn't even about that. Like there's no place for it, and I think that's what people loved about it because you could watch the game and see like, oh, I could do that. You know what I mean? I could play that role, and I think that's why football is still king because there's 22 positions out there, and you can point and say, you know, what I mean, I can do one of those.
Yeah.
But not much going on with the Bears. Big news with Caleb in Rome, so I did want to talk about that. Like I said, got that monkey off the back. I didn't think that they weren't going to sign, but it's just this weird thing. But once all the hard knock stuff came out, it kind of made sense that yeah, maybe that's gonna be the first episode or the second episode or whatever. Everything else, Chicago sports down to the dumps. Sox suck, Cubs suck. Bulls, the kid from that we drafted in the first round, he's looking good in summer league. I've liked him a lot. He's playing very well. I'm excited. Giddy looked good in the game against the United States. They lost, but he was like 18, 8 and 8.
Yeah.
Um, so I like I said, I think Bulls fans should be excited about Giddy. I think he's going to have a good season. He doesn't get hurt a lot, and he's going to average 20 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and be something the Bulls has basically never had. But all right, nice short, quick one. Um, like, follow, subscribe. We will talk to you next week. We'll have a lot more to talk about with the first week of training camp going on, things like that. Like I said, like, follow, and I will see you not next week. I'll see you on Saturday.
I'll see you on Saturday.
Adios.
Adios.